Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you guys are from, and welcome to another Japan Guide live stream. If it's your first time watching one of our Japan Guide live streams, we've been doing these so that people who have been unable to travel to Japan have an opportunity to do some virtual sightseeing. Um, so how are you guys? Monday morning? No, Tuesday, today. Today's Tuesday. Yes, that's right. How are you guys on Tuesday? What time is it and where are you guys from? Let us know in the chat. And it's so nice to see all of you guys. It's kind of early. Well, it's not that early, I guess. It's like 10 a.m. So kind of mid-morning for us in Japan here. Um, Good morning to you guys. So nice to see. Um, wow. Just actually a quick question for you guys on the chat and for you guys watching the live stream at home. Is this time like 10 a.m. actually good for you? I mean, it works for I think it's a good time for us as long as we can get like the max number of viewers and everything. Late afternoon, I see that you guys are late afternoon in the evening. Sounds like 8 a.m. Sounds like I think this works for a lot of us. The Yeah, nice. Perfect. So today in our live stream, we're going to be visiting a sake brewery in Aizu Wakamatsu in Fukushima Prefecture. Now, does anybody have any good memories of visiting a sake brewery, or have you visited a sake brewery? Or do you have any good memories of like good sake memories? Or have you visited Aizu Wakamatsu in or Fukushima Prefecture? Let us know in the chat and I'll get to it as in a bit. So while waiting for you guys to answer some of the questions that I asked, sorry, I asked so many questions. I'm just gonna give you guys like a quick rundown or like a quick intro to where we're visiting. So thanks to its climate, the Aizu region, so we're visiting Aizu Wakamatsu. So the Aizu region of Fukushima is highly suitable for sake production, and the prefecture produces, so Fukushima Prefecture produces some of the best sake in Japan, and some of them, win top awards, nationwide, and some of them even internationally. So sake in Fukushima, always a good thing. So I'm just gonna check out some of the comments on the chat. Seems like a lot of you guys, it's like afternoon, evening, um, early morning, and early morning, 6 p.m. Oh, nice. Thank you for the nice comment, Amnista, that you guys were going to come to Japan in October, but you had to reschedule for next year. Yeah, like with all the borders closed and everything, yeah, travel has been like international travel has just been really hard for everyone. But thank you for tuning in to our virtual visit. Makes us feel, I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it over here. So Langston Hill says, I've visited Nida Honke in Koriyama City. Oh, it was fantastic. And the president and the sake master was so nice. Oh, wow. Koriyama City, Nida Honke. I've got to check it out. Gonna put it on my list to visit. Sumicraft says, I visited Aizu Wakamatsu a couple years ago. Oh, nice. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you like your visit? Andres Wolf of the Eastern Nation says it's 8 a.m. and in Indonesia, good morning. Or what do you say in Indonesian? Selamat pagi, or is that, oh no, is that night? I'm so sorry, my Bahasa Indonesia is Bahasa Melayu is like really bad. Good evening. Well, good evening and good morning. Thank you for tuning into our live stream. So nice to see all of you guys. And some regulars that I've seen noticed that you guys have been watching our live stream. Hi. All right. So it's the same as before, like the last live streams that we did for Aomori and Yamagata Prefecture. Before we start on the sake brewery tour proper, we're gonna give you a quick rundown or an overview of the prefecture itself. And today, to begin, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of Fukushima Prefecture. in particular the Aizu region, which, we're going to be focusing on today. So, so just to recap, we're going to do like a brief introduction to the prefecture, and then we'll watch the sake brewery tour together. All right. So on the map, you can see that this is Fukushima Prefecture, and the place that we're going to, Aizu Wakamatsu, is somewhere in the middle on the western side. Fukushima Prefecture is the third largest prefecture in Japan. The largest is Hokkaido, which is way up north, and then the second largest is Iwate Prefecture in the north. So Iwate Prefecture is like between Aomori and Fukushima. So the eastern side of Fukushima Prefecture borders the Pacific Ocean, and the western end is mountainous. For all of you who are wondering, sometimes when you hear the word Fukushima, some of you might, instantly connect it to the nuclear plant or the nuclear disaster that happened. Now, just note that the only area that's off limits is the no entry zone around the nuclear plant, and that area itself is only it's less than 3% of the entire prefecture, so it's really a small part, and the rest of the prefecture is perfectly fine to visit. We've gone many times, and each time so many things to see in the prefecture. Just gonna take a quick look at the chat right now. Yeah, sorry, I just saw Fida. Is it? Yeah, selamat pagi. Nice. I'm glad I got my bahasa Indonesia right. And I see Life's Image says probably the best one was Kawashima Shuzo. Where is Kawashima Shuzo? Sounds like Yuzu Shu was incredible. Yuzu Shu sounds nice. Alright, so this is Fukushima Prefecture, and we're gonna be focusing on the western half of it. Give me a second. There you go. So our focus is on the Aizu region, and does anybody know what nice sightseeing spots there are? I know I already put one spot over there on the map, so it's kind of a big spoiler over there for now. Let me know in the chat. Let us know in the chat where you think is a nice sightseeing spot, or if you've been to Aizu, let us know where's a nice place to visit. Langston Hill says, I used to live in Aizu Wakamatsu from 2019 to 2020 in Wonderland. Absolutely, Aizu Wakamatsu has lovely sake, and that's why we're visiting a sake brewery there today. So, okay, since the spot is already there, I'm just gonna go right into it. One of the most famous sightseeing spots in the Aizu region is Ouchijuku. Now, this is how Ouchijuku looks like. Has anybody been or want to go? So Ouchijuku is a post town. Sorry, I keep saying port town. It's a post town along a trade route, or along the route that connects Aizu with Edo, or Tokyo, as it was. Tokyo was known as Edo back then. So lots of post towns along the way, and Ouchijuku was one of them. And you can see lots of really nice thatched roofed houses, and that they used to be accommodation for the travelers. Today it's mostly restaurants and souvenir shops, but a few of the buildings have been preserved, so you can actually go and take a look at some really historic houses. Okay, next. Tummy Fish HD says, is that the leek soup place? It's not soup, but yes, it's the leek place where you Ouchijuku is where you eat the soba noodles, and you don't use chopsticks, but you use this huge stick of leek. Let me just move the thing back up. You use this huge leek to eat the noodles, and scoop some noodles into your mouth, and then you bite some leek, and then you keep going. Of course, there are chopsticks to use as well. So that's Ouchijuku. Alright, moving on. Also in the Aizu region is the Bandai Azuma Mountain area. The Azuma Mountains, the Bandai Mountain, and Mount Bandai is in that region, and it's also an active volcano. So active volcano, mountain, absolutely beautiful scenery, and it's also known as a ski snow resort area. So if you're looking for some snow in the Aizu region, definitely you might want to check out the Mount Bandai ski resorts. As well, there's a big lake. Sorry, I'm just gonna head back to the previous slide. You can see just below the Azuma Bandai mountain area is Lake Inawashiro. It's a pretty big lake in the area, and you can see it from the ski resort. If you look at the top right hand corner of the picture, that is Lake Inawashiro. So also in the Bandai Azuma mountain area, we have really nice hiking opportunities. So if you're into hiking, some of the trails here are really nice. And being a mountainous area, we also have really nice autumn colors. So I think the Bandai area is one of, I guess from Tokyo, it's not too far. You can go and see some really nice autumn colors. And they last typically because it's across like the mountain slopes. So the colors kind of gradually come down towards the lower elevation. And you have like a whole month to look at some beautiful autumn colors. Also pictured over here is the Bandai Azuma skyline, a really nice driving road. So you start at the bottom. As you gain elevation, you can see like the change in colors, or if you're coming back down the other way. So absolutely beautiful driving road if you're into driving. And autumn colors. So also, now does this guy look familiar to anyone? He is Noguchi Hideo. He was born in Inawashiro, and near the lake there is a museum where you can learn more about him and his life. So he's a medical researcher of bacteria. And does anybody know who he is? Or why might he look famous? So just if you guys have been to Japan before, I'm pretty sure you would have seen like Japanese money. So this guy in the picture is the same as this guy right here. He's the guy on the 1,000-yen note, Mr. Hideo Noguchi. So yes, that's him. And he was born in Inawashiro, and the town of Aizu Wakamatsu also said, he also lived there when he was younger before moving overseas. So important guy in Japanese history. Born in, nice, the Aizu area. Right, so, and this is Mount Bandai. As you can see at the bottom of the mountain, you get like lots of nice rice fields. So the rice in Aizu is also really good for growing rice. Okay, moving on. We have Kitakata. Now, has anybody heard of Kitakata or been to Kitakata? It's actually kind of like one of my favorite places I've been there like a couple times, and if I'm in the Aizu region, I definitely always want to go for at least a bowl of food. Now, Kitakata is famous for Kitakata ramen, which is one of the top 3 best known ramen styles in Japan. The other two famous the other two famous ramen styles are Sapporo ramen, which is like a miso broth, and Hakata ramen, which is in a pork broth, like a tonkotsu broth. And I see Langston Hill definitely got it right. Kitakata ramen. Yes, absolutely love ramen over here. So Kitakata ramen is famous, and this is how it looks like. It's one of the nice things about Kitakata ramen. It's actually known best, or known to be a breakfast food. So Kitakata ramen, like the stalls selling it, they open early, like around like 7 a.m. for breakfast. So now the reason being, there are lots of like light factories around the area. So, and when people shift work, some of them end like early in the morning. So their morning is, their end of the day is like a regular person's morning. So at the end of the day, you kind of just want to go home, have some food, go home, and then, rest for the next day. So Kitakata ramen is kind of like dinner for them, and now it's like asara or like morning ramen is a great thing to have in Kitakata. So if you're into ramen, definitely put this on your list to try. And also there are a bunch of sake breweries in Kitakata as well, and you know, you can go visit them as well. Yes. Okay. Next, we have the Tadami line in the Aizu region. Now the Tadami line, oh, it's really hard to say really fast, the Tadami line. The Tadami line is in what I consider to be an absolutely romantic diesel train line. So because it's a diesel train line, there are no electric poles or any wires above the train, so you get like the nice scenery. And the train line goes around like the countryside, so you get countryside views, you know, trains crossing bridges, lots of absolutely beautiful things along the way. This is the Tadami train, well, the Tadami line train, and the colors are kind of cute. The train carriage itself is kind of retro looking. It's old. There are no wires, nothing to obstruct the view, and look at it. It's so cute. It's just two carriages and it's going over the bridge, and the surrounding scenery is absolutely beautiful. One of my favorites. And the Tadami line is so beautiful. And so going back, as you can see on the map, I've got Aizu Yanaizu marked out. Now Aizu Yanaizu is about 60 minutes from Aizu Wakamatsu on the Tadami line, and it's actually famous for the akabeko, which is the Red Bull. Little translation. So we have an akabeko here. Can you see it? Yes. Oh, is it? Oh, yes. So this akabeko, you know, it's said that the origins of akabeko comes from Aizu Yanaizu, and said that this mythical Red Bull helped build the temple in the town. So the temple was built on a hill, and this Red Bull actually helped to carry the heavy materials, transport them up the hill. So from there, the akabeko became like kind of popular. Yeah, the akabeko. So akabeko is sold all over the Aizu region, and it's one of the best known souvenir nationwide. So you can actually see a lot of these in the Aizu region. I'm gonna put it back in its spot. Okay, so that's Aizu Yanaizu. That's the akabeko in Aizu Yanaizu on the temple grounds where it all started. So if you want a summary of the best of Fukushima, don't forget to check out our best of Fukushima video, which is hosted by Joe. Hi Joe, if you're watching. And in the video, you know, we cover like the best sightseeing spots in Fukushima, and if you're looking for great itinerary ideas to add to your itinerary, definitely you'll want to check out this video and get some nice history and nice sightseeing ideas. All right, zooming in finally on Aizu Wakamatsu, the focus of our live stream today. So just before I go on further, does anybody know what are some of the top sightseeing spots in Aizu Wakamatsu? Before I, you know, spoil it all. I'm just gonna check out the comments while you guys are looking. Yeah, Amabia says rice is life. I totally agree. Rice is definitely alive. I love rice. I love Japanese rice. Lemmy from Japan says, I used to live in Aizu. The people were wonderful there. Yeah, I totally agree. Every time I visit like the Aizu region or even Fukushima in general, or anywhere in Japan, everybody has been so friendly, and because like the Aizu region is slightly more rural compared to the big cities, so everybody's like so friendly. It's so nice. Oh, Langston Hill and Lemmy from Japan. These guys used to live in Aizu region, Tsurugajo and the castle. Yes, Tsuruga Castle, Nishinkan toka. Yes, so Aizu Wakamatsu, we have Tsurugajo, the castle, Tsuruga Castle. It's a beautiful castle with a red tile roof, and it's kind of rare to have a castle with red tiles. And as you can see in the picture, it's also a beautiful sakura spot. So, you know, mid-April is kind of the best time to see when the sakura blossoms, when the sakura flowers come into bloom. And Tsurugajo itself, you can go into the castle and check it out. The view from it is also really nice. Tsuruga Castle, absolutely top sightseeing spot in the Aizu region. And we've also got Imoriyama, or Mount Imori, which is about 3 kilometers from the castle. Now this mountain has kind of like a little sad story behind it. This is where a group of about 20 young boys, this is all way back during the end of the feudal period in like centuries ago. This is where a group of boys, about 20 boys, so they were like 14 to 16 years old, they retreated to the castle when there was like a battle happening in Aizu. So from the mountain, from the little hill, they saw like smoke coming out from the castle, and they thought that the castle was taken. So out of loyalty to the domain, you know, they committed seppuku, which is ritual suicide, and which they did so prematurely. The castle hadn't fallen then yet. It fell later, but when they committed seppuku, it was, you know, kind of premature, and you know, people recognize their loyalty and their sacrifice to the domain. And now if you go to Mount Imori or Imoriyama, you can see the tombs of the boys over there. And the mountain also has, Mount Imori also has this building that you can see on the screen right now. It is the Sazae-do, which is like a wooden pagoda. You can see from the picture, like some of the floors are kind of slanted. Now when you enter the building, going up is, you go up one way and you come down another way, and the internal structure of this building is actually really interesting, kind of like a double helix. So you actually never see the person coming down as you're going up. That's quite interesting indeed, and something to check out when you're in Aizu Wakamatsu. This is how the inside looks like. It kind of blows my head a little bit, like how you know, how this wooden structure was actually built. I think it required a lot of thinking and a lot of like structural engineering. It's insane, and it's pretty amazing. All right, so in addition to that, before I go on to that slide, sorry. In addition to the castle and Mount Imori, the other sightseeing spots in Aizu Wakamatsu is the Higashiyama Hot Spring Resort. Hot spring where there are lots of like hot spring ryokans to stay at. And one of the nicest ones in that area is the Mukaitaki Ryokan. Joe stayed there so you can see a picture of it in the Best of Fukushima video. Absolutely beautiful ryokan. So if you have a chance and you're in the Aizu region, definitely check that out. And like Kitakata, Aizu Wakamatsu also has a bunch of sake breweries, and most of them are located between the castle and the station. So when you're in Aizu Wakamatsu, you can check out the sake breweries, you can check out the castle, you can check out Mount Imoriyama, and stay at a hot spring town. It's kind of like a nice package on its own. So that's Aizu Wakamatsu. So I'm just gonna check the chat out really quickly. Sumicraft says it was fun walking in Sazae-do. Yeah, I mean, when you're walking up and the entire thing is made out of wood, so you kind of hear the floorboards creaking as you walk up, but you kind of never see the other person. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And yeah, lots of you guys on the chat are doing great. All right, so I'm just going to go over how to get to Aizu Wakamatsu, the place that we're headed today. So from Tokyo, you want to take the Tohoku Shinkansen from Tokyo all the way to Koriyama, and then change to the local line, the JR Banetsu West Line to Aizu Wakamatsu. Now the one-way journey takes about 3 hours and costs about 9,000 yen one way. 9,000 yen is about 90 US dollars. So the entire trip is covered by the JR East past Tohoku area and the Japan Rail Pass. So the Japan Rail Pass is a 7-day pass that costs 29,650 yen. But and there are also like the 14-day and the 21-day passes as well. The prices are different for those passes, the 14-day and the 21-day. While the just remember that the Japan Rail Pass can only be purchased by foreign visitors. So you kind of need like a temporary visitor sort of sticker on your passport before you can purchase the Japan Rail Pass. Also, the JR East past Tohoku area is also covers the JR East past Tohoku area covers the entire journey from Tokyo to Aizu Wakamatsu, and it's a 5-day pass which costs 20,000 yen. And this pass can be purchased by anyone with a non-Japanese passport. So if you're a foreign resident in Japan, definitely you want to consider getting this JR East pass. I think it's really economical way to travel, and if you're a foreign resident, I would definitely use this pass. So yeah, head back to me. Hi, it's me again, big screen. If you've just joined us, that was my overview of the Fukushima Prefecture, in particular the Aizu region on the western side, and we're now about to get started on the main content. If you have any questions about the content that we just did, or about Fukushima Prefecture, or you'd like to share your experiences visiting the Aizu region, put it all in the chat, and we'll all get to see it, and we'll all get to see it. Paul 360 says, I'm thinking of what to do this 3-day weekend. There's a 3-day weekend coming up soon, I guess. Is that Silver Week? Is that coming up next week? Oh, well, you can consider getting the JR East past Tohoku area, and you could go to Aomori or Aizu Wakamatsu, or stay home because we're still under a state of emergency. Anyway, so today we're going to Suehiro, one of the major breweries in Aizu Wakamatsu, and brewery tours are available all year, and no reservations are required. Has anybody been to a sake brewery, or do you have a favorite sake that you like? Now here's another question, another 2 questions actually. Do you buy sake to drink at home? Like, do you just buy like the big bottles to drink at home? Or do you drink sake only at restaurants? Now, well, the reason I'm asking is because it's kind of interesting. Like, some people with most other alcohol as well, some people just prefer to drink at restaurants because it's a nicer vibe, nicer atmosphere, and you get to enjoy it a little bit more. Or sometimes it's just more convenient to buy a big bottle and just drink at home. So while I wait for some replies on the chat, I'm just gonna show you guys some sake paraphernalia. We've got, which has all been, you've been seeing it the entire time. We've got a tokuri. This is like a little sake decanter, or like a sake vessel. So this one holds about like 250 mils, and it's made out of it's a ceramic tokuri. And these are actually quite common. You can put it in like hot water, so you can get like hot sake with this one, or you can just simply pour like a big bottle of sake into this one, so it looks a bit more elegant while you're drinking. We've also got a masu. It's like a wooden sake cup. There are no nails in this one. It's all joints, as you can see right here. We've also got sake cups that are really big. It's a baby cup, and parent cup, like side by side. They're like this size. And in the inside, you can always see like these two concentric circles, the blue ones. They're supposed to help you see the color of the sake better. We've also got like a regular choco, like a, oh, these are also called choco. This one is a ceramic and it's kind of nice. You could drink, pour your own sake. Oh, that's it. It's gonna take the akabeko. Akabeko can be a nice companion when you're drinking sake from the Aizu region. So you could sort of like, decorate your table really nicely. There you go. She's like Aizu right there. All right, I'm just gonna look at the comments. Favorite Ashley, Yakely, Yakeli. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Your favorite sake so far, the Dasai 45. Yeah, that's a really nice one too. Yep. Amabia says, drink at home and at bars, while Tokyo Paul 360 says, I like Japanese Asahi beer. Nice. Drink at home and drink at bars. Yeah, that's also kind of my style. Langston Hill says, I buy it to drink at home when I play games. Oh wow, that's nice. Tummy Fish HD says, both. I went to a sake brewery in Kyoto. Oh nice, which one did you go to? Amabia says, single serve cups are good too. Yeah, I have to admit, I have on a few occasions. I've gone to the kombini and just gotten like the one cup or the ones in like the Tetra packs. Those are kind of nice too. When the occasion strikes. Spencer Bernhard says Gekekan is pretty common here. Oh, nice. Gekekan, the one in if I remember correctly, is it the Fushimi not the Fushimi Nari one. The one in Kyoto, right? And Joshua Lim says first brewery visit is at Urakasumi from Shiogama Sendai. Oh, Life's a Mitch says Kawashima Shuzo in Takashima Shiga on the other side of Biwako. Oh wow, looks like you guys are all like, sake experts. Nice. Nice. Langston Hill asks, do you drink sake often? That's a I used to. I'm the kind of person that if I like the sake, I'll probably like buy a bottle. And sometimes I drink sake at home. The last time I drank sake was, when was it? About 4 days ago. I drank sake about 4 days ago, and I was drinking the Hakai-san sake. That was also really nice. I think my favorite memory of sake was thing when I did a trip last year. Was it like 2 years ago? We were in Kyoto and we went to an izakaya and I ordered like a flight of sake. I think it was a flight of 32 little cups of sake, and that was fun. I finished everything, and I think my traveling companion, I hope my traveling companion was fine because I was a little drunk after that. I mean, I had a good time. I don't know about my traveling companion. It was Charlie, really. So Charlie had to had to suffer. All right. just just so you know, in Japan, Japan has a strict zero tolerance for drinking and driving, and breaking that rule comes with harsh penalties. So if you're drinking, please don't drive, and if you're driving, don't even think about drinking. If you're visiting here, don't commit that offense or don't break that rule. See on the chat that Amabia says too many Tokyo sake stories but can't share here. I feel ya. Yeah, sake does have like a bunch of sake can bring out the best of us sometimes, right? All right. So we're gonna head into the actual video and let's take a look at it. So Aizu Wakamatsu Station is the best station to visit Suehiro Sake Brewery, and that's the brewery that we're visiting. As mentioned earlier, the Aizu region is famous for the akabeko. It's a big one just outside of Aizu Wakamatsu Station. So from Aizu Wakamatsu Station, we're gonna be walking to the sake brewery. The sake brewery that we're gonna visit, I mentioned earlier, is the Suehiro Sake Brewery. It was established in 1850 and has been around for over 170 years now. And some of the buildings at the brewery, they're over like 100 years old, and that's pretty impressive. So it takes about 20 minutes to walk from the station, but it's pretty pleasant and there are like lots of stuff to see along the way, so it doesn't feel like it's that far or that long, and it gives me like a, like a nice overview of the city itself. So along the way, you're gonna notice like there's the lampposts have some like decoration and there's like a face on it, so keep a watch out for them. So this red brick street that we're walking on right now is known as the Dr. Noguchi Hideo Memorial Street. And on this street, we'll get to see some buildings that are related to him. So in case you forgot, the guy that's coming up on the lamppost, this guy, Mr. Noguchi Hideo, this Mr. guy on the senen note. So when Noguchi Hideo was younger, he had he had burnt his hand, his left hand, really badly, and the building that we see now is actually where he got his burnt left hand operated on, and the clinic is preserved. So on the upper floor, it has been preserved as it was, and while the ground floor is now a shop and a cafe, so you can go in and see how Noguchi-san lived in his youth. And that's the Suehiro Sake Brewery. Now, the two buildings that you see are the two oldest ones. The wooden one was built in 1909, while the white warehouse, or the storehouse, was built in 1892, which is even older. So this green ball that you see over here is known as a sugidama, which is cedar branches that are tied together and cut into a ball shape. So anytime you see a sugidama, you know that it's a sign to say that sake is sold here or sake is brewed here. So there's a poster at the entrance of the brewery, and it tells you what's inside. There's an old wooden house we can see. There's an event concert hall, a vintage camera gallery, a cake shop, and a shop. And we visited the brewery, the cafe, and the shop. So the running water that you can see here, it's the same groundwater that is used for making sake. And anybody, you can try some if you wanted. I did, and I even saw some people like taking bottles back. And this little window that you see here is the shop window. It's really small because regular folks were kind of embarrassed to buy sake, so the small window was so that the seller couldn't see the buyer's face. Also, like sake, they were sold in huge barrels. So people who couldn't afford to buy like a huge bottle, they would take their little tokuri or sake container from home, bring it there, get it filled up, and then pay however much it cost. So that was pretty eco. Bring your own bottle. So this is the first room you see upon entering, and this traditional tatami room is where the owner of the brewery used to live. And on the roof, you can see some good luck charms and omamori or amulets, as well as a little shrine. So you can see that the building inside the sake brewery, the building has 3 floors. That's the ground floor that we're on, and you can see like 2 sets of staircases. That's the second and the third floor. And the ceiling inside is like really high. I kind of was surprised. I wasn't expecting that inside actually. So as mentioned earlier, free tours of the brewery are offered here, and the tours take about 30 minutes. Now, we have a guide over here, and so you can see our guide over here. Unfortunately, the tours are all in Japanese with limited English. So before heading further into the sake brewery itself, we have to change to the brewery slippers, just so that we don't contaminate the areas with our outdoor shoes. So if you're wearing like really hard to lace up shoes, just keep that in mind that you have to change shoes. So during the tour, the guide explains the process of making sake, which can be really complicated if it's your first time to a sake brewery. Over here, we get to see the different types of sake rice, and which is different from like the regular rice that we eat. And on the left of the image that you're seeing now is Yamada Nishiki, the most popular type of sake rice. And on the right-hand side, the rightmost side, is koshihikari, which is the most commonly eaten variety of rice. And you can compare them. Sake rice is actually, the grains of sake rice is bigger than the regular rice. So over here we can see like the polishing of the rice. So the top row is all the brown rice, and the white ones are the polished rice. Now, for good sake, at least 30% of the rice grain is polished away, and so only like the starchy bits are left to make sake with. It's all quite scientific. We also get a little, I guess, a little lecture on the anatomy of a rice grain. It was really interesting. Like, who would have thought? Like, there's so many layers and like things to a grain of rice. Sorry, sorry, just hearing my voice and not seeing my really cool head, my not my bubble head. But anyway, so as I was saying, the nuka is not thrown away but used to ferment vegetables. So you have like nukazuke, fermented vegetables which are regularly eaten at in homes, or it's turned into fertilizer. And after the polishing, so the polished rice then gets steamed, and the steaming process, some of you who have been to a sake brewery, you would have seen this huge rice cookers that are typically, in the ground, and that's where the rice gets steamed. And from there, we move on to preparing the koji. So from there, after the rice is steamed, it is mixed with koji mold while it is still hot. So, hot rice, you add the koji and you mix it together. And this is typically done in like a really small room that is kept pretty warm, just so that the mold can cultivate together with the rice. And then after that, the entire thing is once the mold is cultivated, the rice is then cooled. So the cooled koji rice, is kind of crunchy. So I've been to like other sake breweries and I had the opportunity to try some of the koji rice. So I thought like when I tried it, like it was kind of crunchy and kind of has like a banana-y taste, and it smells really sweet as well. So that's the koji rice, where koji mold is mixed in with like the really hot rice and then left to cultivate. So the mold is left to cultivate and then cooled. So after like the koji mold is cultivated, we proceed to make the starter mash. So the starter mash is made with koji rice plus water plus yeast. So this you mix it all together and you leave it to ferment to form the starter mash. So this one takes a couple days, I think, and you let it ferment and do its magic to start the sake making process. So when that is fermented, so when the starter mash is done, that's when we get to making the main sake. So with the main mash, what we do is we add the starter mash and we add more steamed rice, and we also add more koji rice as well as water. And this together, you mix it all together, and then you let it ferment for about a month or so. And so you let it ferment for a month or so before that's when your sake is done. So when your sake is done, we then proceed on to the pressing and the filtering step of the sake making process. So this step is to separate the solids from the liquids. And so you kind of pour like the entire mash through like a filter, and then you squeeze out as much liquid from the solids. So the the liquid is what we know as sake, and the solids is known what as the sake kasu, which is, it's still full of nutrients. And the sake kasu, then, you can use it in cooking. So you have like sake kasu soup, or you can make like amazake, which is like sweet sake that's non-alcoholic, or you can use it to make cosmetics. Like, like SK2 has like the nice pitera things and whatnots. Cosmetics is also great. And so that's the basic process of making sake. It takes like quite a while, and it's actually, I think it's a science. Okay. So in this room over here, you can see like this huge machine, which is like a pressing and filtering machine. So these days it's all like, we use like big machines. And to the left of it, you see a small tank. And usually the tanks are like way bigger, but over here at the Suehiro Sake Brewery, they make kind of, the sakes are made in smaller batches, and they're almost like limited edition to, or limited to the brewery itself. And coming after that, after we see that, we're moving on to the small museum gallery, which shows the equipment used to make sake in the past. So over here is a rice cooker that was used in the past. It's kind of big. Like, I don't think I could. Yeah, I think you need like 2 people to hug it if you're like hugging a rice cooker. So over here we have the wooden tubs that we use to make the starter mash. These are like pretty big tubs where people would use like huge wooden spades, or I guess brushes or paddles, sorry, that's the right word, paddles to mix the mash together. And some of them, sometimes you could step on the mash to help it along, just like when you make wine, sometimes you can step on it to make wine. Kind of similar process. So the guy in the picture you can see over here, he's like the first he's the first owner of Suehiro, and the board has like information about his profile. And the big bottles that you can see, the one that caught my interest when I was there is this huge 18-liter bottle of sake. It's made out of glass, and they don't make bottles like that anymore. But when I was there, I was like, who would buy an 18-liter bottle of sake? But apparently people do. Hey, Sugidama! Did you see that? So over here, we're going to be taking a look at the koji rice making room. So this is where the steamed rice got mixed with the koji mold. And then, so you can see it's like kind of small. I mean, the rooms back then were kind of small. I think now it's like way bigger. This is just an example. And it's completely like covered, got wood panels along the walls and the ceiling, and inside this room is like really warm, really hot. So you got like the steam coming out from the hot rice, and then you mix in the koji mold with the rice. It's usually done by hand, and then put into these little wooden trays to cultivate the koji mold. Now I heard that actually these wooden trays are really expensive because it's really hard to find people to make them, and to for these sizes as well. And over here we have a historic looking pressing and filtering machine. And this one over here is a huge fermentation tank. It's massive. I think, again, if you were to like put your arms like wide open like that, it would take about 3.5 or 4 people to actually complete one circle. That's how big it was. Amabi is asking, what's the scent like in that building? Does it have a different smell because of the sake? Actually, yeah, the air kind of smells slightly sweet when I was there. I mean, I thought it smelled slightly sweet and had this faint kind of sake smell to it. I like it. So over here, we're gonna walk into a dark room, which is like a storehouse where sake is aged. So it's kept in a really cool temperature all year round. And just a note, most sake is aged for a few weeks or months before it is sold. And some breweries age their sake for longer. And in this storehouse, or this cool storage house that we see here, my guide was like saying that the oldest sake in this room was from decades ago. So this could be where they, age their sakes for much longer. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty dark inside, and if you go on a hot summer's day, it's kind of also nice because it's nice and cool on the inside. So after that, we head out into the bright lights once again, and this is the Archive Museum. And here inside this small room, you can see some antiques as well as letters and pictures related to Noguchi Hideo, the guy on the send note, who was family friends with the owners of Suehiro. That's the guy. Somebody on the chat said that he's really handsome, so this profile picture of him. Also, in the museum, in the archive gallery, you get to see some replicas of the instruments that he used back in the day. So this is the last room to see in the brewing area, and once we exit this room, we don't forget to change back to your regular shoes and return the brewery slippers and head out to the shop. So this is the entrance, and we're entering the brewery shop right here. As mentioned earlier, a lot of sake made at this Suehiro sake brewery. It's limited edition and it's only sold at the shop here. So it's worthwhile to just take a look and see what's available and what you can get or what you might like. And it's one of the nice things about us doing a sake brewery tour is sampling some of the sake. These 4 bottles are the ones that I tried while I was there. And this is the first one. If you haven't realized, I'm also wearing the same top, so I guess this is my live stream top. Sumicraft is asking, do they send sake nationwide? Yes, I think they do like a delivery service, but it has to be like within Japan. Think sending, you'll have to inquire at the shop if you want to send anything overseas. But in Japan, yeah, I think that's not an issue at all. So one of the drinks that I tried is an umeshu, and they were all really good. So, and I brought a bottle back to bring home. So after all that sake sampling, we're back in the main area. And before leaving, I couldn't resist visiting the cafe, which is inside the 130-year-old warehouse. It's the building right in front that we saw earlier. They have desserts made with sake and also drinks, coffee, tea, that is made with the same water used to make sake. So this is the entrance into the storehouse. Can see like the doors are like really thick, and they look really heavy. I didn't try to push it. But once inside, you wouldn't like. I didn't think that I was in like a really old building. You can't tell like this is over like a century old. It looks like really nicely renovated inside, but with like really nice touches, like classic traditional design inside. It was all beautiful. So I ordered a few things to try at the cafe. This is like the nice iced coffee. There's the chiffon cake, which was also great. Um, this was really nice and fua or really fluffy. This was the blueberry cheesecake. That was also really nice. Everything was really nice when I was there. This was actually one of my favorites when I was there. It's a sake jelly with a bit of gold flakes. On the left of this, in the cup, is amazake, which was so refreshing when I was there. It was like kind of hot when I was there. So drinking that was top. So this sake jelly, it tasted exactly like sake with a jelly texture. So it's not like super sweet, but has this nice aroma of sake and yeah, really refreshing taste. Everything was great when I was there. I think this was the sake castella cake. I think yeah, this was also one of my favorites. It's really hard. I think I like that one because I think there was a huge serving of sake poured over it. So, what did you guys think about this virtual visit to a sake brewery? I drank some sake. I visited a sake brewery. I sampled some and I ate like a lot of cakes and everything. It was absolutely beautiful. And what did you guys think about it? Well, here's what I prepared earlier. Ta-da! It's my bottle of sake that I bought from Suehiro Sake Brewery. Just gonna open it for this occasion. I'm so excited to be drinking sake. Gonna pour myself a little glass. And if you at home have a drink, join me in having a oh yeah, it's as exactly as good as I remember it. Slightly sweet. This is a daiginjo, a daiginjo from the Suehiro Sake Brewery. It's got this slightly it's light in flavor and it's sweet. It's not super dry at all. It has this slight dry profile to it, but it's mostly sweet. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments from the virtual tour that we just did, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll get to it in a while. So just before, while waiting for you guys to type in your responses, your replies in the chat, I'm just gonna go over the access information on how to get to Aizu Wakamatsu. So over here, you can see from Tokyo Station, you want to take the Tohoku Shinkansen from Tokyo to Koriyama Station, and then transfer to the local line to Aizu Wakamatsu. So the one-way trip takes about 3 hours and costs about 9,000 yen. And the entire journey from Tokyo to Aizu Wakamatsu is covered by the Japan Rail Pass and the JR East Pass Tohoku area. Now, as a side note, the JR East passes are available for non-Japanese passport holders. So foreign residents of Japan, you're also eligible to buy the pass. And these tickets can be purchased at ticket machines with a passport reader. And these machines can be found at major train stations in Tokyo as well. So if you don't want to buy it from a machine, you can buy it over the counter. And the Japan Rail Cafe, located at the central exit of the Yaezu exit, at the Yaezu central exit of Tokyo Station, is a nice place to buy the tickets. So the Japan Rail Cafe is half a cafe, half of it is a cafe, and half of it is a travel agency. So the cafe section is really nice. You get to try regional foods from like the Tohoku area as well. Food and drinks, that's really nice at the Japan Rail Cafe. And at the travel agency section, you get to get travel information, travel consultation, as well as buy your tickets. Now, there are a bunch of pamphlets in all language, in English, at least in English, available at the travel agency side of the Japan Rail Cafe. And if you're not sure about where to go or what you want to do, you can easily just ask the staff there. They also speak English in addition to Japanese. And you can like ask them for advice on what to do, where to go. And when you've settled on your itinerary, you can then go ahead and buy your tickets. Super like a one-stop shop for everything. And you know, when you're done like, I'm done doing my like travel itinerary planning, then you go to the cafe side and you like enjoy a cup of coffee or a drink or some food to relax and enjoy yourself. And as well as at the Japan Rail Cafe, there's like a souvenir section as well as an experience section. I think the last time I was there, they had like this happi that people could wear, like sort of like an overall, like an over jacket that you could wear and then take pictures inside the cafe as well. So I thought that was really fun when I was there. And I have on a few occasions also seen the really cute akabeko. So yes, that's the Japan Rail Cafe. You can buy your train tickets there. You can enjoy the cafe as well. All right, so let me look at the questions. Let's see. Let's if you can get yep. Do you like Amabie asks, do you like warm or cold sake? That's a really good question. So sake can be drunk like warm or like hot or cold or at room temperature. Depends on the season for me, I guess. I like hot sake or atsukan, which is like served at around like 50 degrees Celsius. I like atsukan when it's cold in winter, so it's like cold outside and I'm like, atsukan, and it warms me up. Or in the summer, I like chilled sake, so that's nice too because it's nice and refreshing. Otherwise, like room temperature, I like, if it's a favorite, I think I like room temperature overall because it's just kind of convenient and easy. At home, I would drink either chilled or room temperature because I'm not very good at like getting the right temperature for like hot sake. So at home, I usually drink like room temperature or chilled. Joshua Lim says, morning drink. Yes, morning drink. Let's see. Oh, Plaque Maigre. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. Did you have something like a yellow sake sample? Actually, let me pour some sake into the parent cup, the big one right here. It's not too sure. Oh, this is really dangerous. Don't know how much I can show you. Here, let me turn the camera down without spilling it on my screen. Can you see whether it's... Oh, sorry. This like... Ah, there you go. This sake is actually more clear than yellow in the cup. Oh, that was really dangerous. Almost spilled the whole thing on my keyboard. Oh, better drink it. Saved my keyboard. Linda Cho says, actually specialists say you can taste better in the morning than later in the day. I wouldn't argue with that. And I have to say the sake is indeed very nice. Lisa Mitch is saying, Lisa Mitch is saying, I'm trying to squeeze Aizu into a return journey from Sendai. How many nights would you recommend there? Into a... You can do Aizu in an overnight trip. So you could spend one night at the Higashiyama Onsen and explore like the city over like the next day or the day you arrive. Sorry, just gonna do some technical issues right here. Actually, I can't find the button that I'm supposed to press. It's all good? Yes, nice. Sorry, there was a bit of technical issues over there and I wasn't quite sure how to figure it out. But I don't blame the sake. So, okay, yes, sorry, back to you, Life Mitch. I'm trying to squeeze Aizu into a return journey from Sendai. So, yes, I would do arrive in Aizu and then spend the night at either a business hotel or, if you can, spend the night at Higashiyama Onsen and then do like your sightseeing in the city the next day. So that's absolutely doable. The last time I went there, I think I did that. Or if you have more time, definitely you want to spend about like 2 nights there so you can visit like, you know, you can take the Tadami line, you can go to Kitakata. But if you're just going to do like a really condensed trip, then yes, an overnight would be perfect. Just go sightseeing in the city the next day before returning. Brian, if only taste tests were included in this stream, I'm so sorry if you know the next time like a smellometer or a tasteometer gets invented for the internet, you know that we're definitely signing up for it and doing all the live streams using those programs. Linda Cho says, if you go to Koriyama, check it out at Nida Honke, another fantastic sake brewery in the area. Definitely, somebody else on the chat mentioned it earlier, and I'm definitely going to check it out the next time I'm in the Fukushima Prefecture. Tokyo Paul 360 says, warm sake is so yummy, it is easy to drink too much. I totally agree. For some reason, warm sake doesn't hit, well, warm sake is like kind of easier to drink, I feel, personally. Easier to drink compared to like cold sake, and you kind of drink it and then you realize that, oh, I've drank too much too fast. And yeah, it's pretty dangerous. Amabia says, I believe, not about this color thing. Look like golden color sake. I think, the golden color one. Oh, sorry, that was umeshu. Umeshu, the plum liqueur that I tried. And it's usually more golden. So I think that was the only one that was a bit more golden during the sake tasting at the shop. Sumicraft asks, do you have to make reservation to visit this brewery? No, reservations are not required. You can just, turn up on that day itself. I think there's a sign-up sheet, and you just write your name there, and then when it's your reserved time. So tours run quite frequently, so you want to check their website to see how often tours run. Because of corona, there are reduced I guess the sake brewery tours are reduced, but outside of corona, they actually offer tours very often. I think even now it's still every hour versus one tour every 30 minutes. So it's still very frequent. You can just turn up and then sign up for it and then go on the tour. Do you know of any sake tours with English guides? Ah, Tummy Fish is asking, do you know of any sake tours with English guide? That is a really good question. It depends on the sake brewery, really. Sometimes you get like a guide that can speak like a little bit of English, but off the top of my head, I have to say I'm not sure um about sake tours with English guides in the Aizu region. I think most of them are in Japanese, but sometimes you can get guides who can speak like limited English, and you can sort of figure out what they're trying to say because of the machinery and of the equipment that's available there. Um, and does the brewery make the sake in hot, cold, and warm? Andreas Wolf of the Eastern Nations is asking. Uh, that's at the brewery. If you're going to sample the sake, it's usually they usually put the sake in the fridge so you try it chilled. Not so much room. There are some samplings or some sake samplings that are room temperature, but sometimes they're also chilled. Hot, not so much. Usually room temperature or chilled. And this is from way back earlier. Kevin Clem is asking, what dinner meals do you recommend to pair with sake? That's a really good question. Depends on what you like, but I've been to sake pairing meals where sake was paired with like a Western meal. Typically, you would drink sake with a Japanese meal, with like Japanese dishes. But I've seen it paired with Western style meals, and that was also really really nice. So so depends on what you like, but I do think sake is very versatile and can be paired with like a wide variety of food, and yeah, should mix and match and try. But usually in Japan, most people would just drink sake with Japanese food because Japanese food is what most people eat here. All right. Are there any other questions? Looks like I've pretty much gone through all the questions. All right. Oh, Amabia says sake is good with cheese. Totally agree. I have done that before. All right. I think I've answered just about all the questions that we have. It was super fun to be talking about one of my favorite drinks in Japan, and I'm so happy to be able to take you on a virtual visit to a sake brewery. So till the next live stream, kanpai! じゃあねー